Hello, welcome to lesson 2. This lesson will cover the installation and the basic licensing of Drive Image. Now is the point where if you weren't following along before, it'd probably be a good time to download the software and actually run the install as I do it in the video. So depending on which operating system you're installing Drive Image on, you may have to do some legwork beforehand. Drive Image, the setup, will attempt to do as much as we can for you, but depending on the permissions or the policies, you might have to set some of this stuff up on your own. The most important thing that we're going to have to do here is set up the .NET framework. When I go to do that, I just go to the server manager, and this is a 2012 server, but it's very similar in other operating systems. And I just want to go through here and select a couple different things that are needed. One is the IIS framework here, so that's going to need to be installed. As well as in application server, we need the .NET framework 4.5. And honestly, Drive will most of the time be able to install this for you. It's just a matter of what the permissions are. But if an error comes up that the .NET framework could not be initialized, then you might have to come in here and install the role manually. So almost 95% of our support issues that come up are due to the service account not having the proper permissions to run the application. The easiest way to take care of this is to just ask for a domain admin account. By default, the domain admin group has all the permissions that we need to run Drive successfully. However, a lot of people don't want to give access to a third-party vendor with a domain admin account. So you can give them this FAQ here, just search service and Drive Image, and this shows all these specific roles and permissions that need to be granted to the Drive Image service account. Now obviously all of them are not needed. It sort of depends on what functions you're using, particularly in the case of file output, wherein we're writing a file to a certain network folder or local folder. Obviously the service account permissions are going to be important there because that service account is going to need to be able to deliver that file. So easiest thing to do is ask for domain admin. If you can't get that, then you can send this FAQ to the IT administrator and just make sure that all these permissions are set. Another important thing is that the service account will stop working if the password changes. So it's always a good idea to install Drive with an account that has a password that's never set to expire. Otherwise, when they change the password, then Drive Image will cease to work. So here is the setup that I downloaded from the website. Remember, you can send that link out to the customer and they can download it just the same. I'm going to right-click it and run it as administrator, which is always a good idea. The setup is pretty straightforward. And like I said, a lot of the frameworks that need to be installed will be installed by the Drive Image setup, only if you run into an error should you have to do any of that manually. You can change the location of the installer where the application is going to run. It'll also alert you here if there are any other services that need to be stopped. These services will become unavailable. So for instance, if you're installing Drive Image on a production Drive Print or Drive DM server, you might want to do it off hours or at least alert the users that those services are going to be stopped. So here you see that it's installing the redistributable. It's pretty straightforward. It'll let you know what's going on. Here it's setting up the IIS site for Drive Image. Some of these things can be reconfigured afterwards as well. You can always reinstall the Drive Image website, which we'll show in a later troubleshooting video. So we fast forwarded a little bit, and here we're at the section where it asks for the service account. So keep in mind that this is the account that both the IIS and the Windows service will be running as. So you want to make sure that it has the proper permissions. If you're not logged in to the domain, I would suggest being logged into the domain that Drive Image is going to run on, and also being logged in as the user that you're going to install as. Those aren't prerequisites, but it's going to help with any issues that might come up. You can always browse out to the directory here and find the user. once I find the user, then I can enter the password. In this case, it's very simple. You also see down here that you can save the password. You won't have access to it, but in case you need to reinstall the services, you can do that without entering the password. So you can do it without getting the system administrator. Also here you'll see that you can set the port that the web page is going to run as. If 9000 is taken up, then it'll automatically find another one. And as you're finding another one, it'll be red if it's taken up and black if it's good to go. So I'm going to hit install, and then it'll go ahead and run through the installation of the services. Okay, so that was set up successfully, and you see that it was added as an exception in the firewall. I'm going to hit OK, and it should finish the install real quick and then ask me for the licensing information. Okay, so Drivve Image will open automatically, and I'll be brought into the licensing wizard. If you're running this on a server that has Drivve installed elsewhere, it will find that customer information. If not, you can create a new customer account for yourself, or rather for your customer. You'll also want to pick the network adapter that you want to register these licenses against. So make sure to pick an adapter that's going to be active, not a Ethernet adapter or something like that. So it's going to ask you for the customer's information, and I'm just going to create one here real quick. abc at, let's say, gmail.com. Okay, so I've created that customer information. We're not going to contact the customer, but all this can be used to retrieve the licensing information if it's ever lost. So now there's a customer account created, and this number was created by us for that customer. These two fields will now be used to retrieve the license, for instance if the server is gone or if you need to move the licenses to a new server. It's always a good idea to print that out or keep a note of it, at least make the customer aware of it. So after registering as a customer, you'll have 5 options here. The first one, if you're a reseller and you're just setting this up, is to just get an NFR license. This will immediately give you a permanent, not for resale version, which will have a watermark on all the scans. This is what we recommend for your laptop or for demo rooms and things. You can also get a trial license for 30 days, which is a fully functioning license. You could enter your license code, which would come from Drivve or from your distributor, if it's a permanent license and a customer site. You can also show the current licenses here on the server, and also reload licenses from the server using your email and customer number. So in this case, I'm going to get an NFR license. This would be what I'm going to use forever on my laptop here to demo the software. So I hit get an NFR license, I hit next, and it should confirm with the Drivve server and then give me my permanent license. Okay, so here we go. I have an NFR license for 10 devices. I'm going to hit OK and then finish, and here I am in Drivve Image. And if I go to Tools and Device Management and hit Demo, then I see that I have all these devices and I can start applying licenses to them.